Alright guys, Scump again. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Scump is asking the serious question over the last couple of days, wondering which of all of these Halo pros that are looking to come to competitive Call of Duty for the upcoming season, now that the Halo Championship Series is over, which is going to be the best performing player? Is it going to be Legend we think is joining Surge? What about some of the other OpTic Halo players coming over as well? Could there be other names in a serious conversation given what we have seen with Shotzzy and even Neptune over just the last couple of years? Very much interested in your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I greatly appreciate it. Wanted to start here, thought it was pretty funny because again there's been talk about other interests coming into the Call of Duty League. So like Barstool were talking about this, getting into the COD League for $10 million. Now I don't really know exactly what that looks like right now in terms of investment into the CDL, because we know that the franchise system doesn't work as it used to. Yes, you did used to have to pay $25 million to the league. The reality is that most teams, they paid, I don't know, $2.5 million, and then the rest of them payments were deferred to some degree. Then when the pandemic happened, they deferred them further. Then they never paid them, and then eventually they got their money back because the CDL said, all right, we probably need to do away with this franchise stuff. Now, the way the league works nowadays is not exactly clear. I believe that the teams have to pay some sort of fee. I mean, I imagine it has to be this way, right? Because how else does the league even make itself work? But I think there's some sort of like yearly fee the teams have to pay. It's certainly not going to be $10 million though. So getting into the league nowadays is different to how it was a couple of years back. We understand, though, that in the CDL today, we still have a couple of poverty orgs. We've talked a lot about expansion. There's other organizations that want to get involved, as we know, but it's not happened yet, right? Space Station Gaming, we thought they were going to come into Ravens. That didn't happen because of the branding stuff. And it is also a question for the league to figure out. I don't really understand exactly why the CDL's deadlines are so harsh. We've seen so many times in the CDL, teams have tried to change their name or change their city or sell to another organization, and they get told no because you missed the deadline. Well, it's like, hang on a second, surely the deadline being as harsh as it is only discouraging investment, not really relevant to this old Barstool stuff. But for example, Falcons, they had to be the Vegas Falcons for a year, which isn't where they wanted to be. They wanted to be in Riyadh, but because they missed the deadline, they had to just suck it up, right? And say, okay, we're going to be in Vegas for a year, have all the branding for that and build that as a brand. And then next year we're going to move anyway. So, you know, there's just a few things that I think are, let's say, pushing back. There are some push factors for teams not to come into the CDL, despite the fact that there is still some serious interest, which is good, but also I think we could be, as a league, in a much better spot than we actually are. So into your thoughts in the comments below on that one. I will share this clip for you guys in a second because it was pretty funny when the guys on the flank were going through their tier list and Eggs kind of gets exposed for admitting that whatever these other organizations are cooking up, it's not going to be on the same level as Shotzzy. But Shotzzy's certainly a relevant player to discuss today because 2018 Halo World Champion made the transition to Halo after the Black Ops 4 season, or from Halo to Call of Duty after Black Ops 4, coming into Modern Warfare 19. Called aBeZy for a couple of months, then he turned it around, won MVP that season. The rest since then, of course, is history. So the question is, now the Halo World Championship is done, the Halo Championship Series is over, these Halo guys are now going to make that transition right about now. Formal, it's probably not going to happen for. I don't think he wants to come back and play competitive Call of Duty. Look, maybe at some point in the future he will. Maybe he sits on the watch party for a couple of months and says, screw this, I'm better than these guys. Get me back in the server. But I think that's pretty unlikely. Formal was the original like GOAT, right, in terms of Halo to Call of Duty when he came over and made that transition back in 2014. That was kind of the first time it happened, right? Look, we've seen this before. Roughly every 5 years, we see a big transition from Halo players trying to make it work in Call of Duty. Happened in 2014. Formal, Enable, out of many players. Like, there were tons of Halo players at the time that tried to make the switch. You can even see on like COD Gamepedia, you go back and you find some of these old tournaments, you'll see a load of like big Halo names try to make the transition. Some of them, it didn't work, it crashed and burned. They eventually went back to Halo or they did something else. some of them it did work. Formal and Enable were the two key names that made it work at the time. Then, when the transitions happened in 2019, 2020, of course, Shotzzy has been the big key name there for some time. You know, even Huke went to play a bit of Halo. I think Kenny went to play a little bit of Halo as well when they were underage, but, you know, that was kind of from the Call of Duty side. The same was also true for Crim, really, as well, right? Crim6, he started out, I mean, this is way back in the day, we're talking like 2012, 2011 or whatever, but he played a fair bit of Halo before coming to COD. It's kind of a known thing. Halo shooting is difficult. You've got to track your targets for longer. In terms of like raw mechanics and gunny, the Halo players are very impressive. That doesn't give you the full skill set for Call of Duty precisely, but the transition obviously can work. It doesn't work on all occasions. So now we're getting another transitionary period, and we're going to see the same thing again. There are tons of Halo players that will be looking to get involved in Call of Duty because, yeah, could they continue going around and playing some of the third-party Halo tournaments next season? Yeah, and some of the players will do that. Like Frosty, it seems, just won the Halo World Championship again. You know, he just loves Halo, right? So I don't think he's going to come to COD. And also, if you win all of those third-party Halo tournaments next season, you're still going to make a decent chunk of change, I'm sure, playing competitive Halo. But there's actually quite a lot of money in COD Challenges. If you win the COD Challenges tournaments, you know, there's tens of thousands of dollars on the line there. And you've got the upside to potentially get into the league. So we believe that there's only one player who will be signed straight away. Again, very interesting because many who watched the Halo World Championship would say, well, Legend wasn't really doing all that much towards the end of the season. I know that it is a frustrating part for some of the OpTic fans, certainly for OpTic Halo's team. I look sometimes on the competitive Halo Reddit and you see people that, because Legend for the first half of this year's season was like unbelievable. Like the clips he was coming out with, as we saw at the World Championship, it didn't quite seem like towards the end of the season he was quite the same player. Was that a consequence of when he did the tweets that said, look, I'm a free agent for Black Ops 7, and has been putting some of his attention there? So the timing maybe wasn't exactly ideal, but it's not just Legend who's making the switch.
And fucking Envoy in 2026 is not fucking Mercules and Shotzzy. We gotta be fucking realistic, bro.
We acting like Dan didn't.
Shotzzy's insane, then, Pat.
Why are we like forgetting about Dan Dorsey now?
Best players in the
Shotzzy's
game.
insane, then, Pat.
This is insane.
No, they're the best team in the game last
So
year.
Shotzzy is a superstar. So Shotzzy is a superstar.
We got you, Pat. That's what we wanted.
Did you guys not hear who I said? I said Mercules, and then I said Shotzzy and Kyle.
We got him.
There's a reason I had it in that order, because Mercules.
Yeah. Right. I mean, like you've had players like me, Shotzzy, Huke, Frosty, Enable, all kind of lay out the groundwork and, you know, Crim, like just show that.
Oh, dude, I feel so much better, chat.
You know, you're under 25 years old, you see the CDL,
so
why
hungry.
the fuck would you not try?
Yeah.
It's kind of my thing. I mean, what's the alternative? You know, you sit around, you play Halo events with not much interest at all. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a no-brainer to me, but I'm me. You know,
Fantastic.
I don't really, I'm not going to speak for them, but they should try the CDL. Why not?
So you've seen a lot of.
Yeah, chat, I'm actually curious about your opinions. Who do you guys think is going to be like some of the best Halo players to transition over? I feel like Legend's going to be gross. I mean, it's kind of a bad question, though, because we don't really know who's going to transition over. I'm assuming pretty much all of them. I mean, what's the alternative? You're either coming to COD, Apex. I mean, thinking about like first-person shooter games that you can really transfer your Halo skills over. I'd say COD and Apex are probably the two top ones. Right? I wonder who's going to be nasty. Because like I played Renegade. Renegade's nasty. Legend's nasty. Bound had never played before, so he was kind of Bound was lost, but like I wonder who's going to be like really nasty from Halo.
So of course this the OpTic Halo team, Formal, Legends, Renegade, and then Bounds. That was the team of four, and we've seen plenty of tweets of this effect over the last few months. As I say, since the 26th of July, when Legends did the tweet after HCS shut down to say, look, I'm a free agent for Black Ops 7, let me know. It wasn't long after this that Hex said, yeah, look, we are in conversations with other organizations about Legends. We're pretty sure that he's now going to the Vancouver Surge for the upcoming years, straight onto a starting team. That will be controversial, but you know, he clearly has the talent to potentially make it work. And as Scump says, he feels like, from even watching Legend play a little bit of Call of Duty, which he has done on occasion, he, of all the potential candidates, we've seen Shotzzy in recent years. Neptune, of course, is another good example, because he also came over, started turning some heads on Florida back in Cold War, but, you know, eventually it didn't really go to plan. He ended up on Vanguard on New York Subliners, right? That was a disaster. They ended up on Los Angeles Grillers. Then he, I think, went back to Halo for a bit or whatever. Then he came back to COD and, well, played Challengers for a year. And now we know that Neptune is an absolutely top quality sought after player, certainly in these movement-esque games where also the Halo players seem to have a lot of, let's say, transferable skills from competitive Halo to competitive COD. So there is reason to believe that of the bunch of players coming over, we will probably get like one or two that like really work and end up being CDL staples for years to come. Legend, as Scump says, is the most likely, I guess, because we've seen him play a little bit of COD. He 1v1 Illy a few months ago and smoked him. Okay, it's a 1v1, but, you know, the talent is clearly there. The belief is clearly there in him. We think he's going to be with Gwyn, Abe, and Lunas on that Surge team. A lot of risk in here, but also Gwyn, we think he had an offer to go to G2 Minnesota, but he turned it down to instead play with Legend because he believes this is where the upside potentially is. So that's one part of the puzzle. But of course, as we've said, there are also other players as well. Now, I'm really interested to see what happens with the rest of that OpTic Halo team because, look, Bound tweeted out free agent for Black Ops 7 at the end of August. Hex said, no, you're not. Renegade it. Actually, well, let me find the Renegade tweet first. He said free agent for Black Ops 7 at the end of August. Hex said, no, you're not. Now, they didn't delete those tweets, right? They're still up there. And there is a feeling that Renegade and Bound might both be interested in making the transition to COD if they can get like an Illy or something and run an OpTic Nation Challengers team. That was discussed the other day. But as I say, it's not just these guys. Collect, who has also been very notable for what he's done recently in Halo, also free agent for Black Ops 7. So there will be tons of players coming over. As Scump says, he thinks that, okay, Legend is certainly one, but if the other players, you know, it's pretty unlikely there's going to be multiple that really make it work, but there will be some players in Challengers this year, and I think there are some exciting stories, right? Some of the existing Challengers players aren't going to be very happy about this, but at the end of the day, if you've been down in Challengers, or if you've been yo-yoing between the Pro League and Challengers for the last 4 to 5 years, the CDL teams will feel like they've kind of figured you out, right? Whereas for some of the Halo guys, that of course is certainly not the case. So is Scump right as to which of the players might come out on top? How many over the next couple of seasons will successfully make the transition? Because, you know, for Halo in the past, when these transitions have happened, it's like, okay, these guys are coming to COD, but then a new Halo comes out a year later, and then some of them decide to go back to that. Whereas there's no real plan for that as it stands anyway. The HGS is over. They're coming out with that campaign remaster. Okay, Halo will renew at some point and they will kick on again, I'm sure. But for now, we don't know what that looks like. So, you know, for lots of the Halo players, they will feel like if they want a continuation in their career in esports, they've got to make it work in COD, right? And Illy might be a piece of that, as we understand. Hex said the other day, hey, would you be interested in captaining an OpTic Challengers team if our Halo boys decide to keep playing that, minus Legends, probably minus Formal as well? So intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new as always, take care, and I'll see you next time.